All right, thanks everyone. We'll get this meeting started. First of all, I want to do a sound check. Mr. Katz, can you do a sound check for us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys just fine. Can you hear me all right?
Yep, great, perfect. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
All right, we'll get this meeting started. So it is September 11th, 2023. Time is 6:30. So we will go ahead and start our regular city council meeting. We'll start with agenda item 1, call to order and roll call. Billy Mackey.
Roxanne O'Neill.
Lydia Bryan Valdez.
Slate.
William Valdez.
Linnell Strawn. Cynthia McCall.
Right, thank you very much. All present. Next, we will move on to agenda item 2, pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America.
to the republic for which it stands,
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Move on to agenda item 3, public comments. Comments will be taken from the audience on agenda or non-agenda related topics. City council will make no comments. Take no action during public comments. Presentations are limited to 3 minutes. Davis.
Hayes County is doing their 5-year, every 5 years they have to do a hazard mitigation plan. And they are at least a year behind. And they to do this, for us to participate, we have to attend all these meetings. And the first meeting is in 2 days on Wednesday, and Ms. McCall has kindly agreed to go attend that meeting in San Marcos. These meetings are mandatory. This is very important for the city because when the county does the mitigation plan, they're also doing it for all of the cities. And so they, at the end of the process, they will send us a nice brochure with the Hayes, City of Hayes mitigation plan. But if you don't attend the meetings, you don't get the plan. And if you don't have the plan, you're not going to get any grants because they asked for your hazardous mitigation plan. They did on this last grant. We had to say, well, it's all Peace County's fault because they hadn't done the thing. So they gave us a pass on that.
What time of the meeting?
So
What time of the meeting?
what time?
You said it was Wednesday, yeah.
1 to 3.
Yeah, so there's a little flyer here, I think somewhere around it.
Is it?
One.
No.
I think I gave that up.
Okay.
We can make copies and give it to.
Actually, I made enough copies. Now I can't find. Oh, here they are.
You still do that. Let me make a couple.
Plan
Oh, yeah.
already made.
No, they're going through the process. The reason they are a year behind is because of COVID and because it's a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
Huge undertaking. And so this is kind of kicking it off. Plan, there are other meetings. And if anybody would like to participate in this process, I went to all the meetings 6 years ago when I was the mayor. It was kind of an ordeal, but I learned a lot. We got a nice week back in the office. We have a nice plan that year.
Yes.
You've ever seen that plan?
Yeah.
Nice folder.
Yeah,
It had a lot of good information.
I'm seeing a lot of photos.
It stays in effect. It stays in effect for 5 years.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
How many, Harvey? How many are they gonna have? How many?
I don't know. you'll find that, you'll meet a lot of nice people there and you'll find out, you know, how many meetings, when's the next one, where it's gonna, they have them all over the place. This one's in San Marcos. Thank you.
So it's a series of meetings that we need to attend?
Huh?
It's a series of meetings, not only a
Series.
single, a series.
Series of meetings, right?
Thank you, sir.
The first one's Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a series of Prescott meeting.
Who else going?
Yeah.
Oh,
The policy.
It is welcome, I believe.
Well, we're scheduling along,
It doesn't have a date for all the meetings, but then I
Yeah.
had.
well, after the first meeting, you probably have some.
It's not that.
All right, so anyone in the audience, any other public comments? Anyone online, any public comments? Please raise your hand now. If not, I will close this out and we'll move on to agenda item 4. All right, public hearings. 4A, a public hearing and presentation on the fiscal year 2024 proposed budget. Will open now, September 11th, 2023 at 6:36. No need, we are not presenting the budget, it's been posted. For a period of 30 days plus. And if anyone has any discussions or comments on the proposed budget, we would like to hear them now. If not, we will close this out.
I mean, I would like to know, just for the record purposes, what is our, where is our assets and gonna be, what's the total? I need to know. what the
Budget, he can-
Budget, the bottom line, not for everybody else listening in, I don't know. If they have computers or not, just for the record, those two numbers. And the net, asset, the net gross amount of money and the amount of money we expect to make at the end of the year. I know it's in there,
That's what we got last month.
Yeah, last month is in the financial report.
right. But
So is that posted on the website?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
the whole budget,
And it was posted on the board. So-
okay.
So they can
So-
go to the
so
website.
Oh, those are our regular boards
Yeah.
in the neighborhood.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So,
So the residents-
You're right.
the residents have access to it to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what they were,
The website's a huge help.
Do we have copies? Yeah, it was with the,
we could bring them off to, I guess.
The cheap copies. On the back.
My computer,
I know.
yeah.
yeah,
I didn't print it out.
I'll be the phone.
yeah,
Can make a copy. Okay.
okay.
Okay. Any other comments? If not,
No, that's it.
I will close out agenda item 4A. September 11th, the time is 6:38, closing out 4A. So I will move down to 5A, which is the discussion and take action on the FY 2023 proposed budget and approve the budget ordinance. That's supposed to be 2024.
That's it,
Mhm.
4B, you didn't say 4B?
5A.
It's just a typo.
5A.
Yeah, I'll skip back to that.
Okay,
That is.
It's just a typo. Yeah.
Typo, let's make a note, everyone here in the audience online. That 4A and 4B should be 24 and move up 23. Clerical mistake. So
I did make one change to the proposed budget and I increased the audit from 8,000 to 14,000. So that was one change that. Yes. If you approve the budget tonight, the budget for the audit will be 14,000.
that was the conversation between you and the auditor, right, about price, so we have that communication. Logged in emails, right?
Did Archie's rates increase or is he doing a more in-depth audit this year?
It's rate increase.
His rate increased from 8 to 14?
No, I made what I thought was an educated guess. This was last time with the 5-year audit.
That's right.
And so,
Single year audit's now 14K.
yeah, the last time we did a single year of 7,000, so I went to 8.
Close.
And I did call some other cities. And the information I got is they're in line with everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so that is the discussion point. And if we all do not have any questions, I would suggest a motion to approve the fiscal year 2024 proposed budget to take effect as of today.
On the motion, I took on the motion to approve the fiscal year 2024 proposed budget.
I'll second.
Okay, motion has been seconded.
We
We'll take
need
it
to
to
do a voice vote.
a voice vote. Okay, sorry, so,
Oh, what, sir?
Voice vote.
Oh, yes.
yeah. All right,
In other words, everyone gotta go around and say yes,
Okay.
no.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Tony agrees, yes?
Yes.
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Passes 5-0.
So it's a voice vote, voice vote.
Okay. We'll jump back up to agenda item 4B, a public hearing and presentation on the FY 2024 proposed tax rate of 0.0896 per $100 valuation.
I had a question. I thought that we were supposed to do this one on a separate day, for the tax.
No, so we discussed that, I believe, with Mr. Katz, and it was okay that we could do this on the same day, so.
Yes, and also the tax assessor.
Yep.
She got her lawyer involved. Yeah.
So we
So
can go
that's
through
why
that.
we don't have a meeting for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right.
no, we don't have to meet tomorrow.
No, we gotta wait, this is. our meeting, yes, yeah, so. Making sure on that, so with that, I'm gonna open that up to the public for any comments. Okay, I will give us a few more seconds. Okay,
Yeah,
all right, sounds like there's no comments, so I will go ahead and
Billy, just for the record, what was the current tax rate?
the tax rate, yeah.
0.0953.
So it's going down?
The tax rate's going down. Values.
Values went up.
Yeah,
We'll get more money.
Anyone?
okay. No, it's good.
Comments? Okay, so I will close this public hearing September 11th at 6:43, close. Okay, jumping down to agenda item 4B. Discussion and take action on the fiscal year 2024 proposed tax rate.
That's 5B, sir.
5B, I thought that's what I said.
I think.
5B, yeah. And approve the tax rate ordinance.
I make a motion that we,
No motion.
no motion.
Just the voice vote, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I'll start up. Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
Yes.
okay,
Passes 5-0.
that's up to 0.
In favor of.
Awesome, thank you, everyone. Moving on to agenda item 5C, take action to appoint a representative to serve on the General Assembly of Capital Area Council of Governments, aka CAPCOG.
And this is a fairly important organization. Our representative right now is Larry Otis. Representing an elected official. And so, has to be elected by, we have one slot. And the council has to select somebody among their group to be on the board. And of course, you can attend meetings. And get involved. They do important stuff, so.
Yeah. Any,
But the application's here, a little bit of
is
information.
that usually the mayor? That's something.
I don't know who is it, it's just an elected official, right? So,
Yeah, I'm Mr. Mayor, I never participated in it. I guess I was the selected person, but went to meetings and stuff.
Where do they meet?
Huh?
Where do they meet?
I'm not-
Should be good at it.
Northwestern.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, so everyone's heard that, so we're looking for a volunteer from council. And Lydia has,
Unless anyone else would like to.
yeah, is there anyone else? Besides Lydia, If not, I would suggest, do we have a motion for this? Yes? Okay, I would suggest a motion for
No, 1 second, sir. Are you? No, oh, no.
Lydia, to be the member and represent us and the General Assembly of the Capital Area Council of Governments.
Okay, I make a motion that we take action vote to appoint Lydia Valdez to serve on the General Assembly of the Capital Area Council of Governments.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion has been seconded. We'll take this to a council vote. All in favor? All right, all in favor?
Am I allowed to vote?
No.
Right, so it's like, I don't vote. Let me
Uh,
sure.
Or one abstain.
Good thing.
Well,
I didn't know if I was allowed to or not.
okay.
I see, okay.
Yep.
All right, so motion passed.
All right, motion passes.
Can we vote for one?
Yep.
I know, isn't that? Isn't that, can't we vote for oneself? Is abstaining the same as a no?
We'll just-
Right.
we'll
I
ask
mean, I don't wanna vote for myself.
I voted for myself for Mayor Pro Tem.
I know. I voted for you too.
Yourself.
I asked him, because none of them on the record that I didn't even approve myself. to
Mr.
be-
Katz, can you answer that question for us?
No vote of
know,
confidence for myself.
I don't think it's not actually a conflict of interest. Since there's no financial stake in this, so I think it would be okay if
Okay,
Ms. Valdez wished to vote for herself.
great. So
I-
let's scratch that.
Again,
Approval 5-0, all in favor. All right. Thank you. Okay, moving on to agenda item 5D, take action to set the date of the fall city sponsored cleanup and to establish the location for the 2 roll-off containers to be delivered by Texas Disposal Systems, or otherwise known as TDS. Okay, let's see.
Should we've done it in November, but May and November were always our.
yeah, but it can be iffy. I mean, every day, rainier, cold front.
October might not
We
be
used to
nice.
do it in October. When it
Long.
I thought it was always in November, May and November.
Most recently it's been May and November, but. But I think we did the first one in April this time,
We did,
so October would be 6 months.
yeah.
That makes sense.
So do you want to keep it in October or
Yeah.
November? So. End of October would be a Saturday 28th. Okay.
Thanksgiving is the 25th?
No, it's October.
Yeah.
Or we could do it first week of November, which would be November 4th.
Well, that's not bad either. Yeah.
I think it's
Due to the
November 4th.
weather.
Maybe there'll be Halloween things going on the Saturday before.
That's true.
Maybe November.
November 4th.
No, first we
Yeah,
get November sounds good.
4th looks
Yeah,
good.
because maybe people have stuff they want to throw away after Halloween.
Yeah, we'll be there. On it,
And so-
right in the trash can again.
So, okay. So if that's fine, so that's the first date, and then the second date is typically in when? May, April,
Oh, it
so
may.
May.
May,
We
so
usually do it like 6 months
That's what
apart.
we do with that big bin.
April, May, so the last Saturday of April is the 27th.
When's Easter?
Easter is. It's on here, huh?
First will
Must be
be
in
after
March.
the solstice.
Easter is March 31st.
Easter is March 31st. Oh, an early Easter. Early Easter.
So, yeah,
That's nice.
27th, or if you want to do it on May, it would also be the 4th, so maybe November 4th. May
Wow,
4th.
on the 4th.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay,
Or cheaper the better.
All right, so if that is it with everyone, we will, I would suggest a motion for November 4th and May 4th. November 4th of 2023, May 4th of 2024.
I'll make a motion that we set cleanup days for November 4th of 23 and May 4th of 24.
I'll second that.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, motion has been second. Take to the council vote. All in favor? Everyone, okay. All in favor.
November 4th, May 4th. Do we need to also establish the location? Does that need to be voted on?
Oh, yeah, sorry, same location.
Lopez done wells to stay.
Someone else?
We don't have to have a motion for the location now.
Yeah, we kind of know.
We're allocating money.
Yeah.
for it.
Right.
Much is the cost?
So,
It's free. We get really yeah.
Yeah.
I got yelled at by the other day. They were gonna,
And I read it on the.
Or missed that one.
We'll post it, I'm sure. Yeah, so.
Yeah, let's post it on the bulletin board so when people can start.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on to 5E, receive and take appropriate action on the August 2023 financial report. Davis, you got the floor.
So. Anyway, we have. $1,881,000 Broadway Bank and Tech School. It's about $13,000 more than last month. And did look at the comparison of year to date through August this year versus last year. And the expenses for the city are about $100,000 more than last year. So I kind of gave a list of what they are, you know, big number is legal. And most of that is milestone legal. And water operations, $25,000 more, and of course, that part of that is the PGMS taking over management of the city's water facilities, so. Anyways.
Can I say something? I didn't get to print off a copy because my computer is totally defunct now with that new Outlook. Can we get packets printed off for the council waiting for us when we show up?
Well, I did print out a lot of the stuff for you.
Okay, well, I've got just three.
Is that what everybody wants, a full packet? Because it's, can be, pretty voluminous.
But isn't, I mean, can Cynthia do that? Like either the Friday or Thursday before or the Monday before? I know that every other meeting I've attended to, the council or the commissioners get a full packet. Not everybody has a printer. A lot of people access their documents through their phone screen.
Hard to.
And so again, you know, we would have hard copies for our records. A hard copy for the council to follow along with. And it is, I know I'm getting off topic.
I agree with you. I think it'd be easier to have a packet. Right at the meetings. Be easier to flip through pages and look at, of course, I'm old school.
Yeah, we're all.
I'm old school.
Nobody's here.
Okay, this is definitely off topic.
Yep.
And I think any council person, of course, has the right to hard copy everything they want. I would suggest that you call Ms. McCall and ask her to print a copy for you. And if you want a hard copy, you should get it like Friday, so you can look at it.
Yeah.
You know, because if you have a hard copy sitting here for a meeting, you can't study it. You know, it's not really gonna be helpful.
That's an
So-
excellent idea.
So,
So we'll call
the
you on
answer
Friday.
is, of course,
So Thursday.
you have the absolute right to have a hard copy of everything you want. But you just need to let Ms. McCall know and how to make arrangements.
So say if you have a deadline of noon, then we'll, if 2 or 3 of us call by no later than noon, we have time to print it for us.
Yeah, I go
What
off
time
at
do you leave?
2. I leave it. I'm not,
She
I
doesn't
don't,
work on Friday.
No, only on the Thursday before the meeting.
yeah, Thursday, I get off at 2, but
So maybe
Yeah,
before
2.
lunch,
yeah, that's fine.
but you print them here on
Yeah,
the site?
so
Okay.
I'll table this conversation. You can just get with McCall after. The meeting, we'll get back on to the approval of financial report. And expectations can be set, after this meeting, so. But, yeah, did you have anything else, Mr. Bezos?
No, so.
Okay. So again, packets were sent in or email, if you'd like to go back and take a look at them. And ask questions, obviously. Afterwards, later on, at any point in time, in between this meeting and the next meeting. But for now, I would suggest a motion. To approve the August 2023 financial report.
I make a motion that the council approves the financial report dated August 2023.
Second the motion.
Okay, motion has been second. Take the council vote, all in favor?
Aye.
All in favor. Okay, moving on to agenda item 5F, take action to approve the minutes for August 14th, 2023, regular city council meeting. So that goes in the email too as well.
Can I
And
make a suggestion on the format as far as numbering, under 4, like, I know it's highlighted, but do like 4A, 4B to correspond with what it was on the agenda to make it.
what?
I think we found that, we looked at that and we found that very cumbersome to try to actually match it.
That was very common.
And we looked at what other cities do, and some do number it on their minutes, some don't. And so we figured it's gonna make, especially the last meeting, which was extremely long, complicated, had many agenda items. So that's why we did it. But if you want the ABCs, we'll accommodations.
Yeah, so if that is. Something you are passionate about. Let's send an email later, if you have it on the agenda item. Yeah. Okay, so. Back to the meeting minutes, there are no questions. Or comments or corrections,
It was on the last item, it talks about the motion, but it doesn't give the council vote on discuss, consider, and take action regarding the Hayes Commons development application. It gives who made the motion and seconded it, but it doesn't give the council vote on it.
Well, why don't we
Delay
just
it till the following month.
yeah, we just delay it. So.
We'd have to go back to audio to confirm, right?
yeah, we'd have to just.
We can just push it forward to the next month.
Okay, if that's the case, suggest a motion.
I make a motion that we table the approval of the minutes until the October meeting in order to be able to determine the council vote on the agenda item related to discuss, consider, and action regarding Hayes Commons development application to the Texas TCEQ to create a MUD within the city of Hayes, ETJ.
motion has been made.
I can amend that just to move forward the approval of the minutes until October to allow time for any recommended revisions.
Okay, motion has been amended. Is there a second?
A second,
Just to simplify it.
but now that we've already taken action through a lawyer to send
Yeah.
a letter.
The minutes has to be correct.
Yeah, but yeah,
How is that going to affect it?
No,
We did it. but we
we did it.
No, we've already done that,
We
actually.
already done that.
Mr. Katz, is that okay?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's okay because I was present and I got clear direction from the council on what action to take.
Just didn't get re- We don't have a technicality that and it can be used
Yeah.
against us by not recording the minutes.
no,
This
No, you will ultimately record the minutes, but that, there's a recording of the meeting and I was present at the meeting and I got clear direction from council on to file a protest letter for that mud.
okay,
so are we rolling the meeting minutes forward or can we approve?
so we good.
But I'll ask us to make a correction.
Correction.
So we'll all review them again, make any recommended revisions and then approve them in October.
Right,
Have to
You
reflect
amended
that.
that.
yeah,
So is there a second to the amended motion?
A second,
Okay, motion has been seconded. Take it to a council vote. All in favor? All in favor, okay. Let me check for you all.
Gonna be Columbus Day.
It'll be October 9th.
She amended the
it's
motion.
that Indigenous Peoples' Day.
Probably.
No,
It could be.
There's clarification.
It is.
Do you have a clarification request, Linda?
It's a holiday.
Cynthia was asking about, I said that you amended my motion and that was the motion that got passed.
That's okay.
So-
Okay, thank you.
October 9th is the federal holiday.
Okay.
Can we meet it in?
Yeah, Indigenous Peoples' Day, would you be Columbus Day?
Formerly
And
known
they're
as
going to be good.
And we have some federal
holiday.
How are you gonna pay on the 16th? I have city council on the 17th. I think we've talked about that.
I don't.
We moved it forward? Yeah, we have it on that day.
So we usually move it forward.
Okay, we
because it's
do.
a 3-day weekend, and a lot of people take that as
Yeah.
a small holiday,
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
I think we've done it before.
So we're going to have it on 10/16 instead.
Just double checking.
10/10 maybe on Tuesday. And on Tuesday's hard to do.
Yep, it is October 9th. No, Tuesday, actually, Alicia, I think we scheduled around, so she's got Monday, Tuesdays. Off.
So we may have to
So
do
yes,
it on them.
so, if that's the case, our next council meeting, will be on,
10/16.
so,
Oh, we can do it again. Okay. So Tuesday.
yes.
Is it set for Tuesday, the 10th?
Yes. That's what we're
Due to the
doing.
holiday, that's.
We have to post before the holiday.
Great. Okay, that's the table. We'll move on to agenda item 5G, consider and take appropriate action on request to add in the file, secretary, signer on the Broadway bank account and to instruct Broadway bank to issue the call, a debit card.
And we have secured bonding on Ms. McCall, $10,000 and an additional $10,000 bond. And she got her notary, she's applied for the notary and they gave the option of a bond for 10,000. Yes, so she's
So
bonded
20,000
20,000.
And going to be a notary.
Perfect.
So, that's wonderful.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect, all right.
It's
If
gonna be
that's
good.
okay, I would suggest a motion to approve Ms. McCall to sign her on Broadway bank and to receive a debit card. Their motion.
I have that motion.
Okay, Candace makes a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded. Roxanne.
Thank you, Mayor Harvey.
Take this to a council vote. All in favor? All in favor? Okay, great. Okay, moving on to agenda item 5H, receive update, to take action regarding the Hartford insurance claim.
Hi, can everyone hear me all right?
Go ahead.
Okay, I don't think there's any action necessary at this point, but I'll give you a quick update. I've been brought up to speed on the claim that was filed regarding the previous city secretary with the bond that the city had, which is with the insurance company called, Hartford. Over the past year, like insurance companies often do, they have sent follow-up letters requesting additional information from the city. So on August 29th, I submitted a letter to the Hartford responding to the insurance company's most recent letter. They had sent it to prior legal counsel for the city, and so it got kind of mixed up and lost in the mail, so to speak. They had asked for additional information regarding the IRS tax penalties that the city had to pay, asking for any criminal case information the city may have, and asking for essentially, what the city planned to do with any, misappropriated funds that occurred. So I submitted a letter in response on August 29th. I have not yet heard back from Hartford. I'm sure that their claims specialists are reviewing the information provided. So I'll keep council up to date when I have heard back from Hartford again.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Katz. No action there.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Of course.
Mr. Katz, what's the statute of limitation on the claim? 2 years?
I don't think a statute of limitations problem will be here because we submitted our claim within the time frame that I believe the policy would have requested. So it's like I believe it's like a tolling provision. If you filed your claim, it doesn't matter if they keep asking for more information. They can't eliminate us by asking for more information. We've got our claim timely filed.
And if I may ask, what's the value that we're seeking for recoup from Hartford?
If I remember correctly, the bond was in an amount of $25,000. We submitted documentation alleging losses to the city of over that amount. So, I believe that the maximum amount the city could recover would be $25,000. I can guarantee you that they will suggest to the city that they will only pay a claim in a lesser amount. Probably I'll tell you what I predict they're going to say. They're probably going to come back and say that the actual losses from the city that are covered by the policy would be any amount that would have been kept, stolen and kept by the prior city secretary, or any amount of damages that are directly attributable to her actions. So they're probably going to push back and say, if restitution's been made, the city's actual financial losses are, the amount of additional tax penalty, which I think is about $1,700. So
Mr.
we're not
Katz?
done, but we'll see what they respond with. That's just me looking my crystal ball.
Sir, with all due respect, may I, for the sake of council and the city of Hayes and to protect our interest, and I know you're our attorney, can we revise that to say allegedly, since we do not have a finding in a criminal case?
Sure.
Add in the word allegedly, please, for the record.
I'm not sure what.
Allegations.
Yeah, these are all allegations. That's accurate.
Thank you, sir.
So also, I think too, what Hartford was saying, that they were only going to cover the amount at the time that her bond was placed, which would have been in November before she was terminated, if I remember correctly. So they were not going to cover anything that happened before then. So that shoots that 25,000 down quite a bit. And I also just want to say too, I think it's highly unusual that the city never got a copy of the police report.
May I also add to that, just for clarification, Mr. Katz, if you can cover us. I believe in the end, we had a resignation and not a termination, so I would just like for the record for this to safeguard the city of Hayes. Can you correct that for us?
She was terminated.
termination.
She was
Sure, ma'am.
terminated. We refused to accept the resignation, so she couldn't come back and file unemployment.
Okay.
So it, yeah, she was
Make
terminated.
sure that we did that. Okay,
Termination.
so it's
Yeah.
official on the record. On
Yeah.
the minutes, okay.
Okay, all
Thank you.
righty. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Mr. Katz, for the update. I'm going to close out 5H. And we'll move on to 6, item 6, unfinished business. I receive update, take appropriate action again. Status of negotiations, milestone, and base common fulfillment agreement. Believe we voted last month to not do anything and to table this, so I would suggest that we just table this unless there's any.
Do we have any updates, sir, regarding the collection efforts to recoup the money that they owe us on the, by contract?
I don't have any updates. It's, you know, the position of Milestone is that the agreement required, you know, essentially a further agreement between the parties for additional funds to be placed into the account that would pay the city for its legal fees. And
Position on that, sir? Do you believe that to be correct?
yeah, I don't believe that there were discussions between the city and Milestone to reach a subsequent agreement regarding repayment of the city's legal expenses, but it was not consummated.
No,
But the contract was already in effect. It had not expired yet at the time.
they wanted. to
Well,
do it.
but
And we did have an agreement with them to provide the funds in the account and then to reimburse us for the legal fees.
yeah, the
that not
amount
correct?
additional, I'd have to go back and pull up the development agreement, but
I believe
If
we're covered.
the amount that has already been paid in order to go beyond it would have required additional agreement.
No, that's not the way it's reached, the agreement.
So what's your recommendation going forward? We're gonna suffer the loss from Milestone? For how
Your
many
other
thousands
option
of
would
dollars?
be, your other option would be to authorize me to pursue a breach of contract litigation against Milestone, but I don't believe that would have a high probability of success.
You don't believe you'll be successful in a breach of contract case?
That's my legal opinion, correct?
We might end up spending more money than it would be to recoup.
Those companies bully little cities.
You know,
That's how they do
have to weigh what the cost, what the benefit would be, you know,
Do
so.
we have, at least for the record, the efforts that we made to collect money? Copy the letter that was sent to them?
Well, that's true. I
Do
think
you have that? I've never seen one.
Harvey sent some letters.
The full email, the full discussion.
Did you send anything out to them to collect, make any effort to collect them?
Uh,
Did our attorney
I
send
sent
it?
them an
And
invoice.
all we've done is send invoices.
Send them
We
an
did
invoice.
not give direction to Mr. Katz to go after.
yeah,
I sent them an invoice. They came back and said, give us the details. The attorney, Mr. Howard. did. So I gave him all the details, all the invoices from the city engineer and the city attorney. And then they said they won't pay it. So, you know, I don't know, if they did that so they could look at our invoices or not. But that's what happened.
Okay.
Prior to that, when we were spending, you know, getting near the 25,000, and I did ask, "Well, do you want me to send the bill?" No, we're negotiating the deposit agreement. So I was told not to send them a bill. So, you know, just get them going down. So that's my recollection.
Who directed not to send him a bill?
What?
Who directed not to send him a bill?
The attorney.
Previous attorney?
we are previous attorney.
Of course.
The previous lawyer, of course, not Malcolm.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor Harvey.
Okay, well, you know, the DA ran out in September the 3rd, so, you know, we're in no longer contract. Even though they submitted a letter to be removed from our ETJ on September the 1st. Which was another breach of contract by Milestone. But again, who wants to pursue that, because we just be spinning our wheels and spending money. And, right now, we don't have a lot of money to litigate
I know that.
something, and of course they do. We're,
That's why they
we're
do
low,
things like that.
we are low hanging fruit, 2 milestones.
Do they have, I mean, do they have, the ladder have it removed from the CCN too?
There are two different requests, and I think we can get to them on our agenda, because I think they are separate agenda items.
Yeah,
They
they're
have
separate.
a request to be removed from the ETJ that was filed September 1st, and a separate PUC proceeding to remove their property from the city's water CCN.
So. If there isn't any other discussion on side, we'll just move on.
Thank you, Mr. Cat.
Thank you.
Moving on to 6J, receive update, take appropriate action regarding Hayes Commons development application to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality to create a municipal utility district within the city of Hayes, ETJ.
The update there's no action necessary, but the update is that on September 6th, I filed a letter to the TCQ on behalf of the city of Hayes requesting a contested case hearing on the MUD application. I think Mr. Davis, may have posted it on the city's website. He indicated he was probably going to do so. But if anyone hasn't seen a copy of it, the city has a copy.
I would appreciate a copy, sir.
Did you post it?
I'm not sure. I think I have not yet.
Okay,
And
I don't remember seeing
posted
it.
a lot of stuff.
So
I did post the, and this is a lot from Mr. Katz, the milestone was very anxious to get this document in our hands. And Ms. McCall, as you know, is not there on Fridays. I think the first was on a. Anyways, they came to my house and gave me the documents, and they asked me to sign it and say I received it on this month, and this date, the time, and I think Mr. Cassie.
Service. Like being served.
Delivered by
Mr. Davis, I think you're talking about the ETJ petition here, right?
Sent by courier.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Something else.
Okay, so scrap that.
Yeah.
Update is Mr. Katz filed a contested letter on September 6th.
That's right.
And Miss Lydia Brown Valdez would like a copy. So if we can do that,
I'll get it to her.
okay,
Thank you,
great,
sir.
thank you. All right. If there's no other discussion, Mr. Donna.
Can we also get that letter sent out to all of the council members, blind CC? That way everybody will have a copy of the protest letter that our attorney sent.
Sure, of course.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, you said you didn't get one. I imagine some other people. I don't know. That's not in here. That.
So related to this item, Councilperson O'Neill and I had conversations about how individuals can file protests regarding the creation of the Hayes Commons MUD. I visited with the chief clerk at the TCEQ, and I was able to get websites that people can contact, and so there's I made several copies of this, so I just put it into the agenda, into the minutes here, submit the minutes, so anybody interested who wants to call in.
Individual protests, like.
What's the deadline to file?
It's November 25 listed on September 25. Thank you, 9/25. It's listed on the official TCEQ website. You have to file your way, and that's by that day.
Speaking of that, is there some way that the city can mail out these directions for protests to the residents? I know that Don and I may have talked about it, and Harvey. I would be willing to pay for the postage. I don't know if that's ethical or not. I don't know how we can formulate something to get to the residents with a map. I think when I sent you Carol Pennington's letter and instructions on protests, the map did not transfer over. She had this map, the one that we have right here, attached to the directions. There were two ways that we could protest, either going online on the TCEQ website or mailing them a letter. But what I would like to do is inform the residents, especially the people in Country Lane and part of Redbud Trail, where this proposed mud T-lap could end up being, and I bet you a lot of people know a little bit about it, but not a whole lot of people know a lot about it, or where it's going to be, or how it's going to affect their property. I mean, we're talking property values, we're, talking possible contamination of our water well, the recharge zone, all these things that are interconnected. And I think if the more that people know, the more that our residents would be willing to either, write protests or the other way around, right? And say, oh yeah, I'm all in favor of spewing out treated sewage behind my house. But, leave it to them, but just keep them informed, because I think that the council has an obligation to reach out to these people and let them know what's going on. It's a shame that more people don't know what's going on. They've been kind of left out for so long that they don't really take the initiative. We have a brand new website, and I don't even know who's logging on and finding out what's going on. So back to my point, is there a way that we can send a letter out to the residents?
I think it needs to be to all residents,
All residents,
Yeah.
yes.
So, Mr. Katz, I see you're not on mute. Do you have anything?
You're allowed to do that. The only thing you can't do, is file comments for people. Nor would you've already filed as an entity, as a city. But yeah, if the city wants to put it on your website, if the city wants to authorize an expenditure to mail to its citizens, I think you can't tell them what to do. You can inform the public of what, is happening though.
So if you want to instruct the appraisal district has all the information about names and addresses and that's everybody, there's approximately 90 homes. So it would be a job to assemble a mailing list, but that can be done. You all can instruct staff to do it, or somebody on the council can volunteer. Okay, it had to be done in such a way to mailing labels.
And what's the deadline that it needs to be?
25th.
They have to by the 25th.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's a
online.
letter, and then people write a letter and mail it.
But there's online instructions as well.
Well, no, go ahead.
I would think that we would just provide a letter, not send a whole big packet and, give them instructions on where to go online instead of doing a whole big packet.
It wouldn't be a packet, it was a simple 1.5 page with a map.
Well, I guess the easiest would be to print that off and around and put them on people's doors.
Yeah.
We could,
That would be the easiest and quickest.
Okay,
to me,
that's okay, we could. In their mailbox, I guess, or?
no,
That's not allowed.
only stamped mail goes in the mailbox.
Okay, all right, is there, I guess, a motion for someone to go ahead and do that? Yes, what is the direction?
If you give me the information, don't walk around and knock on the door and hand it to them.
Okay, so Mr. Valdez is volunteering his services
72,
to
Do you have a letter?
deliver
they're gonna provide it.
letter.
I can take Live Oak.
I'll do some.
Just do a walk.
Let me
We'll
have
do
the
a walk
letters
the
up.
block, yeah.
But we can do it.
Okay, so
We'll walk the block.
Send what you need. And if you want it, have distributed, send it to Ms. McCall and she'll print it out.
And then we can,
Okay.
and then we can do it up and then we can.
Don has written this as well, a simplified version of Carol Pennington's letter. I think I sent you Carol Pennington's letter, but like I said, the map did not translate. And I think the map in a condensed size, Carol had it, but this shows exactly
Right.
where our streets are in relation to the.
Yeah, that's just.
Attached to the packet, I did, there's a map, last page.
I can do it on Saturday. Sunday.
Last page.
Okay.
This Sunday.
That's fine. So I think we have some direction. And if that's the case, I would suggest a motion that council create a volunteer group to distribute these letters to instructions to the residents of the city of Hayes before September 25th.
I'm gonna do it next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next weekend,
Next
Next
week.
weekend,
Okay.
16th and 17th.
This weekend.
yeah,
Again.
yes.
You're getting ready.
Okay, I make a motion, so said.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Roxanne, second by Lydia. All right. All in favor? All in favor. Okay. Okay, moving on to agenda item 6K. Receive updates and take appropriate action on office organization, FEMA grants and IT projects.
I really don't have any update, our grants, we have gotten positive, we haven't gotten any money in the bank or final approval, so that's all ongoing.
Okay.
Ms. McCall's making good progress on office organization.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
so
you both.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll get with some people and try to get the hung up. This is a magnetic marker board.
Nice,
Oh.
very nice. Wow.
Yeah, so,
Wow.
yeah,
Great.
it's
We've been
not
asking
as
for that for
heavy,
years. That's perfect.
not as heavy as it looks, so we'll get that
Okay.
figured out before next month.
We can also.
I disagree, it was out in the front and I rolled it in here and around.
Oh, no. Okay, I'm sorry, yeah.
It's a struggle.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, so this will be good.
520, yes.
All right, if there's no other discussion, I will close out. 6K. Moving on to agenda item 6L, receive updates and take appropriate action regarding upgrades to City of Hayes and Elliott Ranch pump stations.
Good evening again, council. This afternoon, I visited with Zach King at PGMS. Here, he's remaining off of the water operator regarding the status of the L3 punch list we did for preparing for Elliott Ranch Pump Station and the August 15 punch list for the Tanglewood Pump Station. The overall is about 35–40% done. There's 22 total out to put both pump stations together. Keith Stewart has done some really good work on dealing with the auto dollars and the variable frequency drives and getting the power disconnect box at the Tanglewood Pump Station all working right. And we worked with TEC and they were very, very cooperative in putting that together. The tank levels have been target gauge that have been worked on. There's still some improvements going to do some of the one of the ground storage tanks at Elliott Ranch. There were 2 pumps that were leaking a bit of water. They were planning on working on those in the winter months after low demand. The one pump at Elliott Ranch that was out of service, I think it's pump number 2, the center pump, will be worked on by Peerless here shortly. According to Zach. But overall, they're making reasonable good progress. That progress is about 40% complete on the items. Now, there's two items I would like to get council's authorization on. And that is the sanitary seals on the two wells at Elliott Ranch. By the time we go through PGMS, we'll have to have a pump service company for that activity. And of course, there'll be an added fee to that. It's going to for the city contract directly with the well service company to take care of those two items. It's probably gonna run about $2,500 each.
So two of them, so about $5,000.
I don't know. But I'm happy to do a little more formal punch list for you, replies. I'm happy to do that or go into sort of details.
Okay, so there was this. An action request from Don, so if okay with that, I would suggest a motion to approve the pump seals.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the pump seals.
Okay. Motion has been made, motion has been second. We'll take this to council vote, all in favor, all in favor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Okay. Moving on to 6M, receive update on City of Hayes well number 1 and proposed well number 3 on Country Lane. Repairs or replacement.
On this particular agenda item, this involves drilling the new Country Lane well. We did verify, visit with Councilmember Valdez this afternoon. I did contact the Barton Springs District. They have approved drilling of Country Lane well. So I will complete the engineering plans and submit that to the TCEQ. I'd like to have an authorization to seek bids from different drilling companies from the council. So we'll get some bids in here for the next meeting. I'll move as part of that project, and then we'll get a little bit of budget for that particular activity. But we have Barton Springs approval, we have TCEQ exceptions all done. I submit a little engineering report to the TCEQ, but I'll parallel that with seeking bids for the construction of the well, of the new Country Lane well, and the tie-in from the Country Lane well, the existing 4-inch pipe that's on site. At that particular lot.
Thank you. That is the
Long
best
time
news
coming.
we have heard in so long.
Making progress.
So excited. It's been a long time. Thank you for your help.
Yeah, the only thing, we're gonna get, we're gonna get it right in writing.
Yeah.
He said,
Awesome.
I'm sorry.
we're gonna get the approval in writing.
I did. I'll bust you down.
Good, good. Or does it make sure?
I actually emailed it to you.
Okay.
Look at your email.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we.
All right, so there has been a request from Mr. Rosshuber, and council is good with that. It was just a motion to approve Mr. Rosshuber to seek bids out for the drilling of the well.
Next, file a motion to ask Mr. Rushberg to seek bids to drill a well.
Okay, motion has been made. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Linnell seconds it. All in favor?
Thank you.
No.
The
Hello.
Oh, yeah.
All in favor?
The bid's gonna be lump sum, it's gonna include the well,
Yeah.
okay.
Any timeline? Don, can you give us a time frame on when possibly we'll get first water out of there?
That's gonna, it's pretty, it could happen within 3 months. By Christmas this year, but I wanna
We're
caution,
getting water for Christmas.
I wanna caution you at this
Yeah.
point. Drillers are very, very busy.
Oh, I don't know.
So I'm working with some of my clients and drillers that are serving myself.
I think they're out, so I'm-
But we want to find a good driller and a good cost. Good.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess the off season is winter, right? Really?
They can drill in the summer.
Yeah, but they can, but it's hot.
They can let us know.
Okay,
It is water.
we move on to 6M, receive update and take appropriate action regarding the installation of generators. City of Hayes and Elliott Ranch full site.
Okay, I've got some, I think some more good news here. So the hangup is at the TCEQ was there was some additional materials they wanted both for the applications for the Elliott Ranch backup generator and for the City of Hayes backup generator. I worked directly with the TCEQ reviewers on addressing their questions and work with PGMS on addressing their questions. Both applications were updated about 3 weeks ago. They addressed the TCEQ requirements and questions that they had. They are now in the process of final review by the TCEQ.
Awesome. Well, that's good news too.
All right.
And yet we're still a year out from the time we order to the time they're delivered.
It's about 40 weeks. But yes, a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not this one yet.
Thanks for the update. So Mr. Katz, did you suggest agenda item 6.0 go to executive session?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I do. I would like to discuss that in executive session with y'all.
Agenda item 6P need to go to executive session.
Is it, I think O is the one that I wanted to do an executive.
Okay, perfect.
session.
I'm just gonna go through 6P right now, so we can get that out of
Of
the
course,
way.
of course.
And we'll.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, I missed that. What's gonna go into executive session?
So 6-0.
It's the PUC release.
And if it doesn't, it's not noted that we're going into executive session?
Yes.
There's a generalized.
We are going into executive session.
So I'm
And
just gonna
you-
skip. Go ahead, Mr. Katz.
I was just gonna say, council, you can always go into executive session under the consultation with attorney exception. Whenever needed, if you want legal advice or need legal advice.
Okay, so I'm gonna just skip down to 6P, consider and take appropriate action regarding amendments to the city water tariff, including water charges and fees associated with customer water use during BSEACD declared exceptional and emergency drought stages and other possible tariff amendments.
Evening again. So as you recall, the council had authorized the creation of a water committee, a tariff committee, if you would, might have Councilperson O'Neill and I think Councilperson Valdez, Harvey Davis, and also Ms. D. Wright, who's with the Elliott Branch. There's an Elliott Branch. I just want to give special thank you to Ms. Wright. Her insight and direction, I think, is invaluable in this process. And it really, I think, speeded up the whole process. So thank you, Ms. Wright, if you're listening on
She is on.
Zoom there. Harvey, thank you. Harvey's insight was very good. Our challenge, our goal was, and our guardrails is that council asked us to update the part 6 of the paragraph of the tariff. Part 6 is the actual rates section and how the rates are implemented and effective and so forth. But also it's from paragraph C to paragraph F, which deals with individual rates, their gallons charges, we call gallons charges, charges per 1,000 gallons. And the goal was to update it 2 ways. One, to add the Barton Springs District drought conditions of an exceptional drought and an emergency drought to our tariff. Our tariff only had the first 3 alarm critical stages, okay. No drought alarm critical, but 3 that's in the current. We updated those, and also we wanted to look at the gallons charges per 1,000 gallons that be commensurate with trying to promote conservation. Now, we did not do a formal rate study. A rate study involves assessment of how customers use water, cost of service for the utility, and then final rate design. But we were able to, I think, put together a proposal for the council that looks at adding the 2 additional drought stages as well as the gallons charges. That's just slightly a little higher than what we have currently in our tariff.
That one.
I like that.
So right now, I emailed to some of the council members in the parliament. Right. 2-page ledger size handout that addresses paragraph C to F. Proposed changes that the committee has recommended to the council. So starting on the first page under paragraph C, water use fees, you'll see that we have the drought, no drought stage, stage 2, alarm stage, stage pre-critical stage. We've added stage 4, the exceptional stage, drought stage issued by the Barstow District, and then finally for stage 5, which is the emergency stage. In this, we use the format in the current tariff that was approved originally by the council. In terms of the water use tiers, that's between like 2,000 gallons and 5,000 gallons, 5,000 and 10,000 gallons. We're not recommending any changes in those. We use that based on our current tariff. And we did some rounding of numbers. This is really, I think, a great idea about Mr. Davis. For instance, you start at the top where it says minimum monthly charge. The way the whites are set up, the customer who is a customer of our water systems, gets billed a minimum monthly bill, and that bill, for that payment of the minimum bill, includes the first 2,000 gallons of use. So we didn't change that, not recommending changes to that at all. We are recommending for 5/8 to 3/4 inch meter. All our customers, I think Hayes probably has all 5/8 by 3/4 meters. I have requested that information from PGMS, but I did not get an actual meter list size, meter sizes by address. They also sent to me that I visited with Lisa over there today, and she's been. I'll check that. I think that Elliott Ranch is mostly 3/4 inch meters. Now the rates that I proposed rates that we the proposed bills is based on 5/8 inch meters in both water systems.
Julie has extra ones. Yeah.
Thank you.
So what the committee is recommending as far as the minimum bill is where we had the current charges of $24.50 for a 5/8 by 3/4 inch meter for the minimum monthly bill. We're recommending around that $26, and for the 3/4 inch meters, which is set in the tariff now, currently at $36.75, rounded $37 as a recommendation. Then these yellow highlights areas on this first page deals with the gallonage charges, what it's called gallonage usage charges. Okay, that's for the gallons of water purchased or sold to a customer above 2,000 gallons. Remember, 2,000 gallons is included in the minimum bill. So we're using the same tiered rates, and we're using basically the same dollar figure with some minor recommendations. But we're also recommending your tariff currently as dollars for 500 gallons of use. We recommend we do away with that, and everything that's based on dollars per 1,000 gallons of use, which is more of the modern terminology. And in order to promote conservation, especially on these higher, more critical drought stages, we're basically recommending, as shown in the yellow area, kind of in the middle of this table here. Now I won't go through all of them, but just kind of give you a flavor of this, but I'm happy to go in any detail you wish. Like for stage 1, 0 to 5,000 gallons use is $2 per 1,000. That's what it currently is. $2.50 per 1,000 for 5,000. 10,000 gallons used, $4, which will recommend a little increase from the $3.80 that's in the current tariff. Go to $4 per 1,000 for use between 10,000 and 45,000 gallons, and above 45,000 gallons. Current tariff has $5.20. We're recommending to go to $5.50 per 1,000 gallons. And if you want to translate to the right here on this table here, then I've included projected bills, customer bills, and so there's existing rates. That would be the customer bill who uses water within each tier based on the existing rates in the tariff. And the proposed rate column is the projected calculated customer bill if they use gallons within the tiers under the proposed rates. Then the last column present percent increase. And you'll see that for these lower tiers, it's very small percent, about 5% increase for these lower drought periods. And when we get into the larger more critical drought periods like stage 4 and stage 5, usage above 10,000 gallons or 8,000 gallons gets to be more attentive from a customer standpoint. Right? So I'm happy to read all these into the record if you wish, Mayor, or
Don't think we need that. So, go ahead.
Do we have feedback? And who was on the committee to do this, and I commend you all for the work. This is excellent, and thank you for doing that. Every step of this and providing all of the details, it was very helpful. Who, other than our fine folks here, who assisted with this? Does anyone from Elliott Ranch provide feedback?
everybody on the committee
From
assisted.
Elliott Ranch?
I was the secretary, okay, and I ran the spreadsheet. But again, there was a lot of input both from Mr. Davis and Ms. Wright. Person O'Neill, a lot of it. We must have had what, 8 or 10 different.
There was a lot of communication.
Maybe.
I just want to make sure we have.
Yes, right, it was really, really invaluable. You know, Harvey and Don, I can't thank y'all on that too, and Dee. They were really the heavy lifters on this proposal.
It's very well done.
Yeah.
So I may go to the second page. And I'm gonna have it real down, no pun intended, that's supposed to be great. In recommendation of place. On paragraph D of our sheriff in section 6, there's no recommended change. We kept the same language there. I included there just to show that it would be consistent there. And paragraph E deals with bulk water rates. Now, bulk water rates, the city occasionally will sell water to one or to a construction company who takes water out of a firehouse for construction. And those are called bulk. And we're proposing these tiered rates. But when we hit stage 3 critical, higher, stage 4 or stage 5, that the city not provide any bulk water. But we do provide bulk water. We recommend the city buy bulk water in the no drought stage and the alarm stage at the rates that goes here. Under paragraph F is wholesale water rates that's described in our tariff. And that particular paragraph, what the committee recommends is that that's going to be by contract. That's like a contract you may have with Oak Forest, which doesn't exist today. We need to do the contract with Oak Forest, but those would be set by contract. So I'd recommend we just basically say in our tariff for each of these stages, it'll be by contract. And the city right now does not have any wholesale contract.
We do have a contract with them for us. So I can send it to you.
I know you kind of know.
No, but it hasn't expired. I think it expires.
Yeah.
Good.
Are we selling water anymore?
So Don, these rates are staying the same in the early stages. The rates are staying the same as they have been in the early stages.
Some bumps in the upper
So we went over.
upper use categories and also in the more critical drought stages. So help promote conservation of water.
Okay, and so in the past, we have continued bulk water sales during stage 3 before. We,
That's prohibited.
yeah, but I mean, in the past, though, this is new, right? Prohibiting this, isn't it?
I'd recommend it in the critical drought, exceptional or emergency drought that we don't have.
Right, but have we been selling during that time?
I know.
First time.
We did last year.
Last knowledge was
Were we
we
in
sold
agreement?
water to the contractor that was put in some fiber optics down 1626. But I don't think we're in a drought condition of it, you know.
Now, didn't we sell to Oak Forest last January, July?
Yes, we did. Thank you.
That was via contract, that was.
Yeah, we were contract, I mean, we had an old ordinance that we should probably either renegotiate.
We have to look at the contract. and see
Yeah,
what it said.
supersede the contract.
Right, you have to upgrade the contract or. amend
When
the
does that
contract.
contract expire?
The way I interpret the contract, it was really only enforced in the late 1990s when the
1990s.
put in now. There's a lot of, I guess, how you read the contract. It's not, has not been a contract I've seen in the city file, been involved with the city, since that particular contract was done. That was for emergency internet.
Well, we can have our attorney look at the contract and see what we need to do. If it's a valid-
About this.
Right, we need to.
Redoing that contract is on my to-do list.
Right.
So
Right.
we'll do it and we'll give it to the attorney.
Okay,
Thank you, Harvey. I just make sure that we have the current rates
Yeah.
and the contract is valid.
And that we not sell water in the
And
third
then,
state.
they don't. Yeah,
So if I may go to the subparagraph below the sheet, and Ms. Wright had a lot of really good input. Also, little H, paragraph over H. This introduction, the title will is the same, but we're adding in. This deals with additional penalties during stages 2, 3, 4, 5. To the more critical stages, of course. And it deals with installing flow restrictors. And it gives the city, I think, a little more ability to install flow restriction when they would be installed. And then in paragraph H, the fee for that installation of a flow restrictor and the removal of the flow restrictors presented in paragraph H. Now that fee is the same fee that's in the current paragraph. That we've added some language and also I prepared a draft notice letter. If the council wants to see it, that PGMS would use to send out to customers and notify them and give them 30 days notice of high usage above the tiered rates. Let's say that we're in a horrible drought and the maximum water use is 8,000 gallons of water per month. In a stage 5 drought, if a customer uses more than that, then the tariff authorized PGMS to issue a letter notifying the customer that excessive use is above that limit. And that notify them that if that corrective action not taken within 30 days, then a flow restrictor may be installed. Now, any sort of action like that, I'd bring to the council to know on the systems, know that what the action is, because you're going to get a reaction from a customer.
right.
All right.
Go ahead. How long does the flow restrict, if it gets to that, how long is the flow restrictor put on the customers?
It'll be 1 month for sure until that next billing cycle is read. And if they, reduce their usage, then that flow restriction will be taken out.
After 31 billing cycle?
It may go longer than.
It depends on the water they use.
I have a question regarding the verbiage of may versus will. It says that if the water consumption is not reduced, a meter flow restrictor may be installed versus will be installed.
I would put shall.
Because if we do may versus will, and my concern would be, I'm very much in favor of this. But that we apply the rules across the board accordingly to everyone equally. And not allow any exceptions to breaking these. So that if we're going to make an effort to do water conservation, that this is applied across the board. And so the may to will, because may, how are we going to decide between one client and another? And that we should be fair and do this equally.
That
I
was
would-
a recent change.
I would put shall.
I think one of the reasons is that May is a pretty good ambiguous legal term.
Because it's so ambiguous for us or against us too.
And it could be each individual person, they may have a water leak.
Right,
You know,
and it may be a
or-
city, it may be a city
Yeah.
issue that
Well, it'd
causes.
be investigated, and if it's a and if it's a leak or something, it'll be noted and filed, and the restriction will not be put on,
Right.
because it's.
So that's why we need to-
not the law.
Why?
That's why we need to.
So we have to have the
That's why,
enforcement,
I would
we have
think,
to tell everybody the enforcement that if you violate this rule, we will put a restriction. You know, if we have a leak of the city or the problems caused or something else, then we can, you know, we don't.
And they would be charged for that, yeah, that's
I would just.
that's $175.
No, but we won't put it on until we fix the problem and then we get another month.
Well, you said that PGMS is having a letter that they're going to bring to the council next council meeting for us to approve. Or we're doing a case by case approval of the letter being sent out to the individual customers.
Well, that would be sent out automatically by PGMS. I would recommend that at a minimum, that if PGMS calls for installation of flow restrict, council is notified letter or about your next meeting, so you know that is the activities that occur. So and you may want council to approve it. That's totally up to y'all. And we're gonna, PGMS is the city's operator, and they administer the tariff. So how what are the more permissive or non-permissive language in the tariff is what they're called. Having may gives them more latitude, which you may not want them to have. But then again, it puts another potential, burden on the shoulders of the council.
Right, for the purpose of parity and for equal distribution to everyone.
Totally up to the council language. And
I'm afraid we're gonna make some of those people very, very, very angry. And they could see.
Well,
Happen either way.
you have to.
Well, the bigger users are the more wealthy.
And more likely to file licks against the city. Than once.
But they're paying, we get a lot of money for that, and so far, our fines from the Aquifer District. Are not that big, but this would put a lot more money in the city coffers.
Yeah,
Are we in favor of or not in favor of this?
so that is
I think
the-
we,
a motion to be made.
Are you
to
concerned
accept
about?
this As is. or do we
Oh, okay,
amend
but that's the only part, okay.
Section G, so, council, I would
Overall.
suggest a motion, if conversations are over, to accept the. City of Hayes proposed water tariff rates as is.
are we through with the discussion? Because I say, if we use the May, then we have. Who's gonna
Where's
decide?
Mr. Katz?
I'm right here.
Yep.
Hi, Mr. Katz. Question,
Hello.
sir. May
Yep.
versus will, what is your legal recommendation to the city?
So under the Code Construction Act, may is discretionary language and shall is mandatory language, as I think you guys have keyed on.
Correct.
So, if you put may in there, then you have to determine who will exercise that discretion.
Right.
So, if you say, the city may install a flow, preventer or whatever the right terminology is, then you'll have to determine, who exercises that discretion and what standards there are that should guide that decision. If you say
Yeah.
shall, then it's mandatory and it must happen if the right threshold circumstances have been met.
I would put shall.
And what is your recommendation for the city and to protect the best interest of the city and help us in our efforts to conserve water?
I mean,
Seems like-
shall is going to accomplish that. It may be perceived as a little more harsh or a little more strict, but that's, there's no room for,
But what is your
discretion.
recommendation for the city and in the best interest of the city?
I think that's a political decision that I would leave to the council.
I would say, will you shall be consistent and there's no favoritism and there's no wishy-washy and everybody be on the same plane. You break the rule. You have that.
Mr. Katz, but does that leave us the ramifications to deal with? So should we cut off the restrictor? How restrictive is this device? How much of a low flow is it gonna do compared to the regular water usage?
Cuts in half,
Cuts it in half?
cut your pressure down on that, right? They're not-
it'll reduce the flow from it. And I might address your.
Yes, sir. So, Mr. Katz, what was your recommendation? I know what the interpretation was, but what's your recommendation to the city? So that we just do this equally and fairly, right? for the
It's-
city?
Across the board.
It's inherently a policy question that I have to leave to the council to decide.
Yeah, all right, so this is for us to decide and not for Mr. Katz. Mr. Dunn.
I'm just asking for legal advice.
So I don't want to get you off that topic, I said, comment about the revenue side. And let me go address that. So we have to remember. We're in droughts when these things are kicked in, and so the city's revenues are gonna drop. Because there's less water getting so.
Right.
All the honest face of right. So when we get into these extreme droughts, exceptional emergency. That doesn't necessarily mean there's gonna be some sort of windfall. See,
Okay.
Right,
because you're offset by lower.
The reduction.
right.
And so
The reduction.
as a professional engineer, I'd recommend to you, if there is an excess revenue that's generated out, so now really be surprised there is, because you're offset by lower water usage. And the minimum bill is still there, right? It doesn't get changed, but the amount of revenue gets changed that comes into the city. But if there is, that you use that excess revenue to back into the system to improve.
The water system.
Yeah.
But it's highly unlikely that would generate revenue for the city, and on the contrary, it seems like it's gonna be more. Perhaps even litigious for the city.
That's correct.
It's like moving a hornet's nest.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, like Elliot mentioned,
When you turn your faucet, you want water to come up.
they're the ones that are,
Maintain the operations of the city.
yeah, and so. I would personally suggest shall instead of may, that's just my opinion, and so I'll just leave it at that.
So just me kind of in my procedural discussion here, if the council approves this and wants to make modifications. These are tables. Where if whatever you're approving, give us direction as a committee, then we will incorporate, if you approve them. This into the current tariff. That current tariff then be sent to PGMS for implementation and administering. And because there are two new categories in here. PGMS will issue a letter to all customers that there are rate changes, whatever the council based on and these two drought stages and so forth. And there will be a 30-day notice, go for 30 days. So these would not be implemented until the first billing cycle, 30 days after the date of notice.
Sir, may I ask you, for the cycle, for the rain cycle, I know it's like looking into a crystal ball, but it seems we're doing this late summer, early fall. When do we anticipate the drought from 3 to 2 to 1 to back down?
Maybe
And
never,
are we never?
maybe never.
Not at all?
Yeah, maybe never. If
That is,
any rain at all, every drop is already accounted for.
It will have to rain a tremendous amount to get over the drought thing.
So, this is terrible. I've never seen it. We've been in drought status for the last 15 years, ongoing, pretty much. Maybe we came out of one once when we got that 19-inch rain. But keep in mind with the growth and everything, every drop is accounted for. We may never get out of stage. Also, with stage 4, it means that you cannot do outside watering. Now, I've heard some people say handheld hose, and then I've heard somebody say only bucket. So try watering your trees with a bucket. This you don't know what this means. I mean, really, this is really dire. Once we lose tree cover, the ground heats up even more. When the ground heats up, it sends this column of hot air up into the atmosphere. So when rain clouds come, they can't get over us. That's why you see rain clouds coming. It disappears around Austin and then forms up in San Marcos and Lockhart. You've got, if you fly, when you hit these thermal drafts, nothing can penetrate. So, yeah, this is really, really a serious thing. I don't know what the answer is. We were hoping with the El Nino that we might get more rain, but it's tending to be a dry El Nino. So these are things, you know.
I make a motion that we use, instead of may, that we use will. Shall. Will and shall, will.
What is it?
Shall is illegal.
I wanted
Verbiage shall.
I wanted to compromise and use will. But I can go with shall.
I'm opposed. Think we should use
Is
may.
there-
Well,
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
May I ask a question? Mayor Harvey Davis, what is your recommendation, sir? I'd like to phone a friend.
so different.
My recommendation, kind of agnostic. Either one is valid points. But I did hear that you said that before we do this, it would come to council. Before we did the flow restrictor, it would come to council. So that would imply.
We would be voting on it anyways.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Every single violator, we would vote on every single one.
Yeah, it'd be a May situation because you're gonna come back and get council. And the May implies more involvement of the city council.
More time.
Versus the shall, will just be
Shall
done and we won't
is-
come back to council. It'll just be
Say
action.
that
taken.
in there,
It's just-
council
What?
approved, May with council.
May requires council approval with every violation.
If we-
Shall is just going forth.
Will doesn't cover.
Will is not recommended.
Why?
Legal counsel.
That shall.
Yeah,
So-
council did say.
It's mayor shall, and if we
So-
do may, then every
Okay.
council.
So getting back to the topic, motion has been made. Is there a second?
Shall.
I would recommend we did additional discussion on this.
So we can either table this and then this takes another month,
Or
or.
is there any way we can discuss this further without? Maybe today, so that we can make a decision today.
I think if our lawyer said shall, that.
Our lawyer is
You-
telling us we need to make the decision.
Well, I know.
Go
but-
ahead.
you can have further discussion after a motion has been seconded.
Because there's,
Then it would already be-
it hasn't been approved, but. So. I mean,
Just the pros and cons of it. I like this. I think it's a wonderful tool for our city. Just that it appears to me, if I'm interpreting this correct, if we do shall, then the council will not, it will not, every violation will not come to council. But if we do may, but may would offer us latitude
yeah, but then.
and discretion.
Then it
Take
takes,
case by
and it's
case.
like every month. That
Right.
we're approving and.
Well-
so-
Well, shall is just to go forward and PGS will handle it. May will come to council, every violation or perhaps every client who's affected will be here.
But I thought the proper verbiage
As
would
well.
be will as opposed to shall. Like we will do this or we may do this. Shall? We shall do
I
that?
think will
That was
has
legal verbiage,
probably
yeah.
the same definition as shall. It would also be mandatory.
Will be,
Yeah.
some softer will,
I
but
think
I
that's-
think it's same effect as shall.
I mean, we're
Well,
saying it
that's what it
in
is.
the beginning of. the sentence.
But the whole thing, the whole premise of this thing is to save water and make sure that when I turn on the faucet, we'll get water. If everybody's in the water. Then I think everybody will understand. That we might have one or two people complain, but it's gonna happen either way. We use may, then they'll have to come to
For the
council.
most part, these are the excessive users of Elliott Ranch.
Benjamin, how many do we have? So
I
I'm
think.
not familiar with.
You sent a breakdown.
Yeah.
There's a huge number that use over 40,000 gallons a month. Some 80,000, one over 100,000, one household.
So I would
But
prefer
as
to use.
opposed
Wait a minute, is this a question to me?
Well, no, I was just explaining the usage of Elliott Ranch versus City of Hayes. Now, you sent out a thing on City of Hayes, most of our users are within their limit. There are some that have gone over, but nothing like Elliott Ranch. Nothing like, 30, 40, 50, 80, 100,000 gallons a month, every month, month after month after month. Those are the people with 5 acres, wall to wall landscaping with sprinklers. And, swimming pools,
90%.
pastures
fill
for
them every
their
month, or-
horses, so they have good water, so, yeah. There's people in our neighborhood that may use over the limit a couple of months out of the year, and then there's Elliott Ranch that use 100,000, 80, 50 month after month after month, and they've been doing it for years.
You don't want to have really definitive language, and that's for those people.
I don't know.
And
how
we
to
use-
separate them.
If we
What I'm
use,
saying.
if we use shell, then they don't have.
We use
Mayor.
May and then take it.
Well,
And then,
Maybe
yeah,
the
they-
case by cases where you're subject to issues because you're not being fair across the board.
right,
But-
right.
But with the May, it allows for contingencies as far, and I don't know, contingent. Say if there's something awry with their water meter or something.
Always reverse that transaction.
Yeah.
Fix
Also.
I mean, they can fix it.
We've done that historically, I think the council
But the
has.
thing
made
is
bills for
that
these and things
to
like
go
that.
in harsh and then back off, that sets a bad.
Versus every single month, we're going to be dealing with this, whatever.
I think, yeah, people will see that we're.
Right,
serious
we're
about
trying to
it,
be
and
fair,
not
we're trying to be
relax. I
fair.
mean, we're all trying to conserve water here.
Right.
I think Elliott Ranch is, but
But they're our biggest customer.
It benefits a lot of people.
Mr. Davis, but.
Well, this is something you could try one way or the other and see how it goes. But the important thing is that we really request the council to approve these rate increases. The flow restrictor is very important to a few abusers over there. I don't think there are that many, maybe 8 or 10 or so that are habitual about it. I think most of the people at Elliott Ranch understand the need of conservation, but they do use a lot of water. And, this will be a shock to them, but they are gonna get a fair notice and what, need to do one way or the
And we
other.
do have the support of their HOA, is that correct?
Absolutely, they're very,
Yeah, so.
Very
they
much
can address it with their
That's
HOA. And then further address it with us.
Yeah, I think we
in
should.
fact,
I'm
the
okay with going with May
In
then.
fact, the HOA will be meeting here on Wednesday night. And.
Give us the latitude.
Shell.
Be on Zoom
No.
if anybody wants to hear their meeting.
Yeah, okay,
Here?
Yeah.
yeah, they meet here every month, so.
My request, my motion that we, the word, from will to shall. My motion,
Well.
Motion has been made, so is there a second? Or is there a second on the motion?
We would like time to try, and if we need to later, maybe do something differently, but at least
Yeah,
going into this, know that we're not getting into
this can be amended
our rate.
later on.
If you start off gingerly and then go heavy handed versus starting heavy handed and then having to convert to gingerly. The approach is what?
well, I see a
What was
lot.
your recommendation, Mayor Harvey?
Did you make a motion to approve
The rate, but the may versus shall.
As is, he said.
May versus shall. Oh, as is the document as is.
as is?
Okay, a motion has been made.
Oh.
There's not a second for the motion.
It's not gonna- But
Alright, motion does not pass. Is there a motion to accept this as is?
I'll make that motion to approve this as is.
I second.
Okay, a motion has been made, motion has been second. All in favor?
Yeah, right.
Okay. All 4 in favor. Tony abstained or?
Oh, no, I just, not in favor. It was shall,
Okay, and 1 against.
yes.
Thank you very much, Nicholas.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your patience, Don. Thank you, Mayor Harvey.
Oh, we got you on this executive session.
Well, right now,
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna close out agenda item 6P. We're gonna go into 6O, executive session.
may, and then we can work into shall if need be.
Receive, update, and take appropriate action regarding the petition filed by Milestone with the Public Utility Commission PUC for release on a portion of the city's water CCN. I am going to stop this meeting right now, regular session. It is 8:14. Stop now. Okay. All right, thank you everyone for staying on. The regular council meeting will continue. 8:44 executive session on 6O has concluded. We have given direction to our attorney, and with that, move into agenda item 7, adjournment. Thank you.
When's the meeting?
That meeting, 8:43.
1 minute.
8:44.
Oh, Keith.